After a week of negotiation in 3 European cities, there are no signs of any diplomatic breakthrough, and a warning from the White House that the Ukraine crisis could escalate even further, with a claim that Russia is planning to create a pretext for an invasion.
We have information that indicates Russia has already pre-positioned a group of operatives to conduct a false flag operation in eastern Ukraine. The operatives are trained in urban warfare and in using explosives to carry out acts of sabotage against Russia's own proxy forces.
Claims, too, that Russia was behind a cyber attack on Ukrainian government websites that shut them down for a period of time. The words, "be afraid and fear the worst," were also projected on several official sites. But in a scheduled annual news conference, the Russian foreign minister dismissed the allegations and maintained that it was the US and its allies that were stalling the diplomatic process by not responding to Russia's demand that NATO membership for Ukraine be taken off the table.
The scene was not uncommon. Russian police and intelligence agents harshly taking down more than a dozen men, all played out on television. But the reason was extraordinary. The Russian government tells the Biden administration the operation dismantled a group of hackers inside Russia on behalf of the United States. Security agents took down alleged hackers from the ransomware group REvil at over 24 addresses, seizing millions of rubles, vehicles, and technology. Among those arrested, alleged ringleader Roman Moromsky, appearing in court in a cage, and Andrei Bessonov, both wanted by the U.S. The FBI in November offered a $10 million ransom for information leading to the group the U.S. blames for the ransomware attacks that shut down a number of U.S. targets, including the Colonial Pipeline in May.
Now, 10 days after CSTO peacekeeping troops were deployed in Kazakhstan, they have now returned to their permanent deployment points. Now, the CSTO peacekeeping forces were deployed to the Central Asian nation to try and help normalize the situation following days of violent protests. In a statement, the Russian Defense Ministry has said, and I quote, as many as about 18 planes will bring home peacekeepers of the Collective Security Treaty Organization mission and military vehicles to Russia's Moscow region and Ivanov region. The visuals on your screens show planes with Russian troops that took off from Almaty on Saturday. And now the withdrawal has come after the Russian President Vladimir Putin said that the mission to quell the protests that turned into unprecedented violence in the Central Asian nation have now ended. On Friday, the troops from Belarus, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan and Armenia returned to their encampments in Russian Air Force's Il-76 transporters.
Well, Novak Djokovic is back in hotel detention today after his interview with immigration officials this morning. His appeal has been transferred to the federal court with a hearing scheduled for Sunday morning at 9:30. Now, this is, of course, after his visa was cancelled again, this time by the Immigration Minister Alex Hawke, who deemed the Serbian tennis star a potential risk to the health and good order of the Australian community. Now, while Mr Hawke accepted that Djokovic's recent COVID-19 infection means that he is of little risk to those around him, the minister argued that based on Djokovic's previous comments on COVID-19 vaccines and his refusal to get the jab, that his presence in Australia could stir up anti-vaccination sentiment.
Preliminary findings into the chopper crash that killed Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat, his wife Madhulika and 12 other armed forces personnel suggest that pilot error led to the deadly accident. The team investigating the crash analysed flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder and also questioned all available witnesses. It has so far come to the conclusion that, and I quote, the accident was a result of entry into clouds due to an unexpected change in weather conditions in the valley. This led to spatial disorientation of the pilot, resulting in a controlled flight into terrain. Controlled flight into terrain, or CFIT, occurs when an airworthy aircraft, while under the complete control of the pilot, is inadvertently flown into terrain, water, or an obstacle.
Eight people have been killed at a township in Richmond in KwaZulu-Natal. 2 others were injured in the attack. Police say, according to the neighbors, gunshots were heard at around 9 p.m. yesterday.
Last night, police at Richmond were informed of an attack on a homestead at Izigakeni location. According to neighbors, at 2100, they heard gunshots emanating from the homestead and proceeded to investigate. That is when they discovered that 8 people were killed and 2 were injured in the attack on the homestead. The deceased were 7 men and 1 female, are aged between 15 and 41 years old.
It's a stunning sight. Thousands of packages stolen right off of trains. If your UPS or Amazon package hasn't arrived, it might be somewhere here in this mess, discarded on a Union Pacific Railroad track near downtown LA. As freight trains slow down or come to a halt, the thieves leap on board with bolt cutters, open giant containers, and take whatever they want. This is what they leave behind, all these boxes, some empty, some not. Look, this box was full of COVID home testing kits, a precious product tough to buy at many pharmacies. This bag held a bunch of UPS packages bound for homes across America. This Amazon envelope wasn't even opened.
Well, in case you're wondering if it's really a spiritual war we're watching, here's this news story. The Illinois Elementary School is offering an after-school Satan Club. The local school district is defending the Satan Club. It's sponsored by the Satanic Temple of the United States. The club claims it will help kids learn benevolence and empathy, as well as, quote, personal sovereignty. We're going to the source on this story. Lucienne Graves is with the Satanic Temple and joins us tonight. Mr. Graves, thanks so much for coming on. So I have to ask, are parents complaining that there's an after-school Satan Club at their children's school?
Some are, but they don't have to send their children to the program. It's available for parents who do want to send their children to the program, and it's there as an alternative to religious clubs that are made to proselytize to children. Ours doesn't include items of religious opinion. It doesn't include indoctrination. It just has a self-directed learning program with trained educators there to help guide the children through different activities and projects that they want to engage in.
Where are the Satan Club's trained educators trained? Is there a Satan School of Theology?
No, we've got educators who have volunteered with us. We vet them. We do the criminal background checks that aren't required of after-school clubs and haven't been required of any of the religious clubs because we want to be responsible about this.